Hello student, myself Professor Rushali Tapde from ICEEM Engineering College. Today we will discuss about the sequence diagram. In previous lecture we have seen what is a behavioral model and why the behavioral model is used or what part of the system is represented by the behavioral model. Basically, behavioral model is used to represent the behavior of the system. That means the behavior of our system is represented with the help of different interaction diagram. Among these, the interaction diagrams are the sequence diagram and the collaboration diagram. So, in today's lecture, we will see what is a sequence diagram. Now, sequence diagram describe the interactions among classes in terms of an exchange of messages over the time. That means whenever the classes interact with each other in procedure, in that case the communication between these classes, or we can say communication between the object of the classes, is represented with the help of sequence diagram. We can graphically represent whatever the communication is done between the objects of the different classes with the help of sequence diagram. Sequence diagram depicts the sequence of actions that occurs in a system. That means whatever the communication that can be takes place between the object of different classes, all the sequence of the actions are represented by the sequence diagram. The order of invocation of methods in each object is captured by sequence diagram. That means how the communication is takes place between the two objects, the order of communication, the message that is sent by one object to another, then the reply sent by another object to the first object, all the order of the communication is represented with the help of sequence diagram. So, the sequence diagram basically used to show the dynamic behavior of system. As we know that for representing the functional requirement of our system in object oriented system modeling and design, we are using the use case diagram. Use case diagram basically used to represent the functional requirement of our system. Then for representing the structural view of our system, the class diagram is used. So next is behavior, how actually the communication or how actual the implementation takes place, how the system will be run, all these things, dynamic behavior of our system is represented with the help of interaction diagram. From this interaction diagram we have two types, one is a sequence, another is a collaboration. In that sequence diagram represent the order communication between the two objects of a classes. It is a two-dimensional in nature. Why it is says two-dimensional in nature? Because horizontal axis shows the life of object and the vertical axis shows the sequence of the creation or invocation of these objects. That means whenever you represent the communication between the two objects, there are different elements of the sequence diagram in which you have to show in which part that object is get activated. That means in the whole communication, in which part that object is get participated during that communication. So, and this will be shown with the help of lifeline. Okay. Next is the sequence diagram used to model usage scenario, the logic of methods and logic of services. Now, what are the elements of sequence diagram? For drawing the sequence diagram, we need to use the different elements of sequence diagram, and the elements of sequence diagrams are class roles, second is the actor, third one is the lifeline, then messages, then activation. Activation is used to represent at what time that object is activated, or we can say participated in that communication, right? Next is the creating objects, next is the deleting objects, then simple and block iteration. If you are using the looping between, or we can say there is a looping between the communication of the two objects. If there are four objects and only two objects are sending and replying to each other, so we can show this communication with the help of iteration. Okay, and next is a branching. These are the elements of sequence diagram. So we will see one by one. So the first element of sequence diagram is nothing but a class roles. Class roles describe the way an object will behave in a context. Use the UML object symbol to illustrate class roles, but don't list object attributes. That means how we will represent the class with the help of UML diagram. We are using the class symbol, that is a square box with the 3 compartments, out of which whenever we represent the object of our class, we use the single rectangular box with the object name, colon and class name. Now here we are not list out the whatever the methods that are associated with the object as well as the attributes that are associated with the object. We are just showing the object name and which class that object is belonging. So inside the rectangular block, what we are writing, object name, colon and class name. In this way we can represent the class role, that means how which object is participated in that communication. Now here object name is also optional. You can write object name and class name in this way, or you can simply show the class name. That means that object belongs to which class. Class name is a optional. Okay. Now the second element of our sequence diagram is nothing but an actor. An actor is an external entity that interacts with the system. Actor is represented with the help of this symbol, in which you can, who is an actor? It is an external entity which is interacting with the system, which is participated in the communication. Next element of sequence diagram is lifeline. That means vertical dashed lines that indicate the object presence over a time. Now look at here, below each and every object, below this actor, there is a dash line, vertical dash line. Below this object name, here are the 2 objects, object and class. This is the second object. Below them also there is a dash vertical line, and this dash vertical line is nothing but a lifeline of that object. How much time that object is get activated, or we can say not activated, but how much time that object is get participated in that communication, right? So it is shown with the help of lifeline. Next element of sequence diagram is nothing but a messages. Whatever the messages that are sent and received between the 2 objects for communication purpose, that are shown with the help of arrows which represent the communication between the objects. Now each message sent a class invokes a static method or the operation on that class. Whatever the message that are sent by the one object to the another object, that invokes a specific operation on that class. Each message sent to an object invokes an operation on that object. Now look at here the line between these 2 objects, that is the actor and object. Whatever this line, horizontal line is shown, that is nothing but a messages. That is the communication between 2 objects takes place. Now for representing the messages between the 2 objects, different symbols are used, different arrow symbols are used. Now the first one is nothing but a synchronous. First arrow symbol, it is called as a synchronous. This what is this synchronous? The sender send messages to receiver and wait for the procedure till procedure completion from the receiver. Okay. The second arrow is represent simple message. When you want to send the simple message, you can use this arrow, which shows that messages with a single thread of control, one object send the message to the passive object. Next arrow is used to represent the message type of asynchronous. Okay, you can represent this with the asynchronous. The sender sends the message and immediately continues with the next step. As soon as the sender sends first message, it will continue send the second message instead of waiting the reply from the receiver. The next arrow is nothing but a return message type, which represents the return message type. Return message from called procedure of the receiver to the sender. Whenever receiver sends some message, return back to the sender, it will be represented with the help of return arrow. And next arrow that is used for showing the delayed message. This arrow is used for showing the delayed message. The message will take significant time to arrive at the receiving object. In this way, the different arrow are used to represent the messages. In this diagram, I showed you different types of messages that are takes place between the 2 objects. Here the A and B are the 2 objects, in which the different types of arrow are used for showing the different communication between these objects. Now the activation parts. As I said, activation means during the lifeline of that object, in which time, whatever the time that object is activated during the communication, participated in the communication, that activation is represented with the help of this rectangular box on the vertical dash line. And whenever you represent this rectangular box on the vertical dash line, that means this object is now communicated with the another object till that box. That much time, that means this much time the object is get activated. So activation box represent the time an object needs to complete a task. That means whatever the task assigned to that object, so he need that much time to complete the task. That time is represented with the help of rectangular box on the vertical dash line, that is called as the activation. Okay, the receiver object is active when it receives the messages from the sender. Each message sent to an object invokes an operation on that object. Next is creating objects. How to create a object? While creating the objects can created during interaction. Whenever the interaction takes place between two objects, you can create the object. An object dynamically create a new object by using the create message. As shown here, object can dynamically create a new object by using the create message. New object lifeline start with the receipt of a create message. Deleting object. How we will delete the object? Object can be deleted on receiving a destroy message from another object. And large cross here, if you look at here large cross is there, which represent that the end of that object lifeline. Here the object is from here the object is not participated in the communication. That is, this is the end of that object lifeline. Now we can represent the iteration with the help of different structural control. What is a structural control? A sequence of messages is fine for showing a single linear sequence, but often need to show the conditional as well as looping statement between these different object communication. So this can be shows concurrent execution of multiple sequences. So the control operator is shown as a rectangular region within an sequence control. We are using the rectangular region to represent the structural control. Control operator has a tag, a text label inside a small pentagon in the upper left corner to tell what kind of control operator it is. When we see that symbol, you will better understood these types of control in sequence diagram. You can use the optional execution, you can use the conditional execution, you can use the parallel execution, or you can show the loop execution. Okay, so how will we show this? So simple and block iteration. Now this rectangular blocks is used to show the structural control, and upper left corner pentagon is used to show which type of iteration it is. Okay, so simple and block iteration. If you are using the looping statement, you want to represent the looping structure control, you can write down in the pentagon that is a loop. So sometimes task is to be performed repeatedly, then a sequence diagram, such a task is represented by a name preceded by an asterisk star. Okay, a repetition or loop within a sequence diagram is depicted as a rectangular. Here we are representing a rectangular box for showing the looping repeated task that is done by these objects. Okay, with the help of loop. Structural control, conditional execution. If some condition is occurred, if that condition is satisfied, then only the task is done. If condition is not satisfied, then another work is done. This can be shown with the help of this rectangular box, and in the upper left corner we can show the alternate, that is a condition. Based on the condition, the particular task is get executed. So between this rectangular box, whatever the task you have right here in the upper left rectangular box, that is called as a structure control. If you are showing the looping iteration statement, you are write down here loop. If you are using the conditional execution, you can write down the alter. Break. If you want to break something, that means after this in between the loop, if some condition is satisfied, you want to break that task, you can use the break statement. That means here in the rectangular box, we upper side we can write down the break after particular condition is get satisfied. loop and parallel. As I said, for the looping statement we are showing the rectangular box, and the in upper left corner we are writing in the pentagon, that is a loop. Similarly for the conditional, that means here I want to show you, you can use the multiple structural control in the sequence diagram. Here I am showing the looping also, as well as I am showing the conditional statements also in a single sequence diagram. Optional, that means if some parts are optional, in that case also that part is represented with the help of rectangular box, and in the upper left corner during this pentagon you have to write down the OPT, that is this is optional part. Structural control, whatever the tag you want to specify, you can specify structural control under this rectangular box. Here we are taking one example of the ATM system in which we are drawing the sequence diagram for withdraw amount. Now while drawing the sequence diagram, we need to identify the different types of object, that means in which object the communication is getting takes place. So for withdrawing amount we required bank client, we required ATM machine, then during account and check account. Okay, so first, what if we want to withdraw the amount from ATM system, what we are doing, the ATM machine send a request to the bank client. Okay, bank client whatever the customer, he enter the kind, what type of operation he want to perform. Then ATM, if he say that he want to withdraw the amount, then ATM machine ask him to request amount, how much amount he want to withdraw. Then customer enter the amount, how much amount he want to withdraw. Then once ATM machine receives that amount, he will process that transaction to the account. Okay, whatever the account that customer has in the bank, and from that account withdraw from checking account, that means it will check whether that much balance is available in his bank account or not. If that much amount is available, then it will represent withdraw is successful, and then account send the message to the ATM machine that this class object send message to the ATM machine, that is a transaction successful. ATM machine dispense the cash, and then user taking that cash, request for the continuation, that means whether he want the receipt or not, and terminate his transaction, and then ATM machine will print the receipt. So in this way we will represent one by one. First, what here we have done, ATM machine request for the card, then he enter the which type of operation he want to perform. Second, okay, then ATM machine again send him a message for requesting amount. Then customer give the amount he want to withdraw, then it will send that message to the another class object, that is a account, for processing that transaction. Then account send this message to the checking account, that is whether that much amount is available or not. In this way the sequence of interaction takes place between the different object of a different classes, and we can draw the sequence diagram. So basically sequence diagram show the order messages between the timing messages, we can say timing messages between the different object of a class. I hope this video will be helpful for you to draw the sequence diagram, and try to practice drawing the sequence diagram for depositing amount in the bank. Then you can try to draw the sequence diagram for the library management system. Thank you.